Peppercorn seared tuna with soba noodles. This recipe contains two main superfoods. Soba noodles, which are made from buckwheat, and buckwheat has vitamin B choline, which help lower the risk of cardiovascular disease, antioxidants, which aid in fighting off cancers, and putting that together with ahi tuna, which is low in calories, high in protein, and high in vitamin D, which as we know promotes high bone density. But bringing these two together takes a little goodness from Miners. With this recipe, we're incorporating the Miners Honey Citrus Peppercorn ready-to-use sauce with rice wine vinegar to create a perfect dressing and marinade that we can toss within the soba noodles and the tuna. The nutritionals on this have over 24 grams of protein, 75 grams of carbohydrates, and only 1 gram of saturated fat.
The next recipe we're going to do is, once again, a recipe which is going to utilize the honey citrus pepper. Once again, we're going to make a vinaigrette out of it, combining it with rice wine vinegar. We're going to mix it with a soba noodle so that you get the healthful benefits of that. Fresh red peppers, fresh yellow bell peppers, fresh carrots, arugula, a little bit of cilantro, a little bit of green onion. So that is going to be the base, and then we're going to do a peppercorn crusted yellowfin tuna, which we're going to sear off to medium rare. Once we chill that back down, we will slice that, finish it with the salad itself, and serve it for a meal. So now we're going to compose this salad. As I mentioned previously, we're going to combine the honey citrus pepper, a little bit of rice wine vinegar, which always serves to brighten flavors. One quick note, when you do get this finished off to this point, save a little bit, because you want to use it to drizzle over the tuna when we finish that. So at this point, we're going to combine the soba noodles, use all of them. The red bell pepper, a little bit of yellow, shredded carrot. And up to this point, you could do this, hold this cold if you would like. I always suggest that you add the leafy vegetables right before service if you're going to do that. So we'll hold this cold for a short amount of time. We'll sear off our tuna, and then when we come back, we will add our arugula, our green onions, the cilantro to this, plate it up, slice off our tuna. What I've done on this is I've taken loin of yellowfin tuna and I've cut it into a block just to give me an even surface on each side so that when I sear it off, I get an even cook. Taking whole peppercorns and just crush them down. You can do it whether in a grinder or with a skillet on the tabletop. We're just going to make a rough crust of this. I typically do it on parchment paper just because it gives you a work surface that you can utilize and then dispose of easily. We're going to crust this off on each side. You can also use just a coarse grind pepper. A lot of times what I'll do at this point is I'll let this sit in a cooler for a couple of hours just because it helps to adhere the peppercorns to the tuna itself. So from here we're going to go to a saute pan or a griddle, and we'll use a small amount of oil and we'll just sear this off on each side. So we have now a saute pan. I use non-stick. Use either pan spray. You can also use the sesame oil. You just have to make sure that you add the sesame oil the minute that you get ready to saute into a hot pan, because if you overcook it, it will become bitter. So we'll do this and utilize the high heat to sear each side. I typically cook it to somewhere in the neighborhood of medium rare. Now to finish off our recipe for the peppercorn crusted tuna, as you'll recall, we have our soba noodle salad that we marinate here. We'll go ahead and finish that up with a little bit of chopped cilantro, a little bit of green onion, and arugula. Toss that. And as I mentioned earlier, I like to do this at the very end in order to maintain some texture in the leafy portions of this recipe. So from here, we're going to take our tuna and we sear it off. As you recall, we're looking for a nice pink center. So we'll take some of our soba noodle salad. Tuna on top of it, and the same vinaigrette that I made before, you just want to drizzle over the top. So once again, a very updated recipe, once again based on a vinaigrette and a marinade made with the honey citrus pepper.
Acosta is a proud supporter of the Wounded Warrior Project.